Good Saturday morning to ya, people. I hope you're having a lovely day. Thanks for tuning into this video. Today, we're talking about our winter essentials. Well, my personal basic winter essentials. Nothing too crazy, something that I think, especially if you're Canadian, you probably need to survive the winter. And I know what you're thinking, why are you holding your mug? It's just one of those days. We got an espresso recently. We love it. It's so good. Caramelito, vanillio, not Italiano. It's so yummy and just a good way to start your Saturday morning. And you may be asking yourself, why is she posting a winter essential video in February? Most people have already posted theirs in like November, December, because that's when a lot of people experience winter. But you know what? If you're Canadian, you know that February is actually the coldest month, especially if you live in Alberta. And it's likely we'll probably still have winter for the next 2 months anyway. The best part about posting it now is that everything is on sale. If you don't have these winter essentials, you can stock up. So let's get into it. So number one on the list is obviously a good puffer coat. I know that everyone has been obsessing over Aritzia's Super Puffs, and they're great, and I must admit, I do kind of want one, and I did have that red one briefly if you saw them in my Instagram photos. I don't know that the Super Puff is the best puffer out there. Mine is from Lululemon. It's the Slush Hour Parka. It's so much better than the Aritzia one just because it doesn't have as many bubbles, so you don't feel like Mr. Lube. I just feel like the fabric is a little bit thicker and a lot more shell-like, and so I'm not as afraid of it getting rips and holes because the amount of people with Super Puffs that I've seen that have holes is outrageous. I also love that mine has a double zipper, so I can zip it up a little bit at the bottom because it is longer, so it makes walking easier or getting into the car easier. Overall, a great coat and a very must winter essential because you heard it a few weeks ago. It was like full-on minus 30 degrees Celsius without the wind chill, so necessary. Next up, a winter essential of mine is a wool coat. This one is new to my closet. It's the Harrington from Aritzia. I think a wool coat is really essential, and I was definitely missing one up until about a month ago because, you know, sometimes you have a fancy occasion to go to in the wintertime. We had a New Year's wedding, which was such a blast. If you're going out to a fancy dinner, we get to go to a play every couple of months, and I love going to the theater, but I don't want to look like a schmuck when I go there. So having a wool coat to put over like a nice pair of pants, a nice suit, a dress that you're wearing to a wedding is very essential and still keeps you really warm and really easy to layer up with anything else, so that's a must. Moving into the clothing, stripping back some layers. Having a long sleeve base layer is a must. Something I've been loving doing lately is styling these little thin turtlenecks under t-shirts, and then you still have the ability to throw on another sweater, throw on your jacket, throw on whatever, and these are just super great for layering. The nice thing about having a long sleeve base layer, even if it's not a turtleneck, is that it's just really easy to layer, whether you're putting it under a dress shirt, under a t-shirt, under another thicker sweater. I just think it's a must because if I haven't mentioned it enough times, it gets minus 30 here, people. I am a sucker for a good turtleneck. I actually used to hate turtlenecks growing up as a child. I just felt like really strangled all the time. I wouldn't wear turtlenecks or scarves, but now I pretty much live in turtlenecks in the winter time. I cannot get enough. The reason I love turtlenecks so much is because you can get away without wearing a scarf because it comes up so high on your neck. It's super cozy. I have a few of those ones and they double fold on the neck, so it's super warm. And it's actually really funny because sometimes when I, pass myself in the mirror when I'm wearing my pajamas or, getting dressed or whatever, I'm like, oh, I have skin. In the wintertime, you kind of forget that you have skin and a body because you're just covered in layers at all times, and so it's a bit weird. The transition to summer is always like a bit of a struggle. Turtlenecks are life. Get you some. Next up, you have to have a good pair of thick denim. The reason I think thick denim is so important is because The thicker the weave, the less the wind can get in. In Calgary, it can get a little bit windy at times, and so having like a good thick piece of pants that actually feels like you're wearing pants is a must. They're just really easy to tuck things into. They keep you kind of sucked in, and so you don't feel like a full-on sausage in the wintertime. I love that pair from Denim Forum, and if you are like me, you know that the struggle is real in finding denim, so I highly recommend checking out Denim Forum because their price point is pretty good, the denim quality is pretty good. I'm just a sucker for Aritzia. 2 very good points. Next up. So like I said, I didn't used to love scarves, but I am getting back into it, and having this scarf has actually been so wonderful this winter. It's really soft, especially when I'm wearing that wool coat because it is a deep V. This part can be exposed, so when I went to the wedding in the winter time, you know, having this exposed can get very chilly. It's just full on skin in negative temperatures, so having a scarf to put on, it goes really well with my jacket, just kind of saves you a little bit from the cold. And the best part is, if you are wearing that coat and it's colder than probably needs to be for that coat, you can always wrap it around you and it adds on like an extra layer, almost like a shawl or like a cozy sweater on top. So having a scarf is really great. Moving on to the bottom of the body. Boots are essential, and I think different types of boots are definitely crucial to having a well-rounded winter wardrobe that's gonna get you through the very long season, you know, without much effort. Number 1 is a good pair of snow boots. I have had the same pair of Sorels for I think about 5 years now, and they're still in really good condition. I love that they come up a little bit higher without being like knee-high boots, and they're pretty slim, so I don't feel like I'm walking around with, you know, I don't know, chunky boots. They're really cute, they keep me warm, they're fairly waterproof, and I'm really glad I purchased them because I was avoiding it for a very long time. Second pair of boots, especially if you live in Calgary, is a good pair of boots that you can kind of muck around in, which would be my Blundstones. It took me a full-on year to break in my Blundstones, like so long, and I think I still have scars on the back of my ankles because they gave me such bad blisters. Maybe partially my fault because I went on a hike with them the first day I got them. Probably shouldn't wear them for like 6 hours straight the day you get them, but now I love them. They are the best boots when all the snow is melting and it's brown outside and you really don't care what they look like because they're keeping your feet warm, they're keeping your feet dry. And I love that you can change the insoles to the furry insoles to give you just a little bit extra warmth if you need. My Blundstones are probably my most worn boot in my closet right now. My last pair of boots that I think every woman should have is a good pair of Chelsea boots. I had a pair from Poppy Barley that I really loved. I wore them to death, which is also another reason that I had to get the Blundstones because I should not have been wearing them in the slush, but I did. So they're not looking so hot these days. But I replaced them with a pair of Chelsea boots from Nisolo. They're just such a beautiful boot because 1, they're flat, I can't walk in heels, and 2, they're leather, so leather always looks sleek, and 3, they are really, 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 really easy to pair with anything. They're black, they're simple, they're plain, anybody can wear them. I highly recommend, especially if you're like going to work, you need to dress up a bit more. Chelsea boot is the way to go. On to the smaller things, but that will make the biggest difference, probably. Probably not, but that's what I'm going with. Socks, wool socks. I highly recommend having a pair of wool socks. And I really wanna know down in the comments, do you put your socks on first and then your jeans or pants? Or do you put your pants on and then your socks? Because I hate when I put my pants on and then I have to put my socks on. And I mean, you can see these ones are long. How am I gonna get them under my jeans? I put my socks on first and then my jeans. And I'm just kind of OCD that way. It makes a really big difference because then they're not bunching underneath your jeans. Wool socks, really important. Keep your feet super warm, not sweaty. Toques. I am a sucker for a pom-pom toque. I have another one. I actually have 3. I have one that's like black and red and says Canada. I love a good pom-pom toque. I don't know what it is. I'm just attracted to pom-poms. Obsessed, always obsessed. These ones keep my head really warm and I think they look pretty cute, even if a little bit childish. Having a toque or a beanie, sorry if you're American, a beanie, I love them. And I think they make a really great accessory too. Having a good pair of mittens is also a lifesaver, especially if you don't park in the garage and you have to get into a cold vehicle and touch that cold steering wheel. Having a warm pair of mittens to keep your hands warm and protect you from that steering wheel. And you know, just the winter elements when you're outside walking and doing whatever you need to do in the winter time. Having mittens is a must. And a bonus, nothing like having frostbite. So if you get cold very easily and very quickly, I highly recommend having some hand warmers on hand. Get it? But I think they're a really great option for warming up super quickly, and especially if you're gonna be outside for a very long period of time. These stay warm for 8 hours, and so put them in your boot, put them in your mittens, I don't know, put them by your organs if need be. Little bonus for you. There you have it. Those were my basic winter essentials. Tell me if I missed anything, if you guys have a winter essential that I need to know about, because I need to survive this winter, my friends. I am not a huge fan of winter. I want to hear from you guys. Let's chat in the comments down below, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.